Can you guys hear those birds? They sound amazing. I love them. I love them. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is ThandiwekaYah, and as usual I have a prophetic word to share with you. Before I start, friends, please remember that not every prophetic word is meant for you. Please do take it before the Lord if you believe it's for you. For some of you this may be confirmation, which is even better. I still encourage you to pray about it, take it to the Lord, ask Him to fill in the gaps, to answer your questions. I don't have the answers to the questions. Like I've said before in previous videos, we only prophesy in part and we know in part. And one of the reasons the Lord does that is so that each one can have a relationship with Him, which is good news for you. So I encourage you to take it to Him. Okay, friends, this is based on a dream that I had, two dreams actually. One was on the 16th of April and the other one was on the 19th of April. And I'm going to start off by reading a scripture just to set the tone for the word. It is Hebrews 8 verse 13. When God speaks of a new covenant, it means He has made the first one obsolete. It is now out of date and will soon disappear. That is amazing news, friends. So what the Lord showed me, I'm going to give you two scenarios, but the crux of the matter is that the Lord wants to wrap up some loose ends, things that you've carried from your past, from your childhood, things that are still affecting you now that just you need to sort out. And the Lord was showing me how there are two different scenarios that He's going to use to do this. For some of you, it may be both scenarios. For others of you, it's one or the other. You will know. Take it to the Lord in prayer. So in the first scenario, the Lord was showing me how He wants to deal with some of these, their characteristics, there are tendencies, there are things that you have carried from your past season in the wilderness that you need to let go of. They're not going to serve you in your walk. In fact, they are going to be hindrances in your promised land. So He's saying that He wants you, the first scenario is that He wants you to take a stand for yourself, to stand up for yourself, for who you are. Don't let people walk all over you like you used to. Some of you have certain relationships in your life where certain people have been dominant over you. They have tried to control you and have been successful in controlling you. They've put you down. Wow, guys, the birds sound amazing today. I don't know why they're so loud, but they just sound beautiful. You probably won't be able to pick it up, but I can hear them and it's beautiful. Anyway, so there are people in your life that have brought you down. They've really knocked at your self-esteem. They try and make you feel, they've tried to make you feel for a long time that you're just wrong generally, like there's nothing that you do that's right. And the Lord said that He wants you to take a stand for yourself. He wants you to put up some boundaries respectfully, because you're still dealing with people and we are not to deal with anyone harshly. So He wants you to do it lovingly and respectfully, but firmly as well. He wants you to be assertive and stern about your stance and to say, no, I won't take this, and no, I won't take that. This is how you're going to treat me from now on, because this is who I am. I am a child of God. I am royalty. I'm a joint heir with Jesus Christ, and you can't treat me the way you've treated me for all these years. So it's time for you to take a stand, to place those godly boundaries, because you're going to need that where you are going. You can't have people pushing you over. You can't have people walking all over you. You can't have people taking advantage of you, because God is entrusting you with some major responsibilities in your promised land, and you need to be able to stand your ground and be able to put up boundaries where you need to. And starting here is a very good place to start, because this is a difficult place to start. This is probably the most difficult boundary you will have to put up, because this is a long-standing thing. This is you're dealing with behaviors from your past that came about because someone was being narcissistic or controlling over you, or trying to put you down all the time. So this is a big hurdle to get over, but the Lord wants you to do it. And this is a quick process. This is not going to be prolonged because things are happening quickly and they're happening now. Your future is at stake here, says the Lord. And he also showed me how the enemy is also he's going to try and intimidate you. He's trying to devise a plan that would intimidate you or try to scare you. But he's saying you need to lay your boundaries with him as well. You need to speak the word over your life. You need to put on the armor of God. You need to speak the scriptures over any situation that you can see has demonic influence. And just let the devil know that he cannot have your things. The scripture says that if you resist the devil, he will flee from you. And that is what the Lord is saying, is that you lay that boundary, he will flee from you. I believe it actually starts with submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. By going with what the Lord is saying to you right now, you are submitting to him, and hence placing your boundaries, resisting the devil, and you will see that devil flee like you've never seen before. It's time for you to take a stand for yourself, for your life as well, because this will impact your ministry. And God showed me how here when he said ministry, he means everything that pertains to you, whether it's the work that you'll be doing, the networks that you're going to have because of the work that you're doing, what he's called you to do, marriages for some of you. You setting these boundaries will secure that for you, because the Lord will know that he can trust you to secure your marriage and keep it safe, to secure this thing that he's given you to steward and keep it safe, because you are able to place healthy boundaries around it. The Lord showed me how the enemy's strategy in this particular scenario would be to try and bring in things that would distract you, that you can see from the get-go that something's not right here. The enemy is trying to do something. And the Lord is saying, don't entertain anything that's from the enemy for too long. Don't entertain it at all. You know that it's not of the Lord. And he's saying, nip it in the bud, get rid of it. Usually it's going to deal with interactions with people. So he's saying, don't be harsh. Don't do anything that would kill someone's self-esteem or hurt them in the soul, because that's been done to you. And you know what the effects of that have been. You have lived that. You are still trying to work your way around all of that. So the Lord is saying, don't do that to someone else. Don't hit them in such a way that it would be harsh and cruel, and it would hurt their self-esteem. It would hurt their soul. He will deal with them. Your job is just to obey and hear what he's saying to you, and he will deal with them. So the Lord is shedding light on that situation. He wants you to see for yourself what's happening, because he is ready for you to get into your into the next thing that he has for you. But you need to sort this out. He needs you to be someone that fully understands who they are, fully understands their mandate, and is able to say no when they need to say no, to be cautious when they need to be cautious, to place boundaries when they need to place boundaries, and to stand up for themselves. So in the second scenario, the Lord is showing me that for a lot of you, both scenarios apply. For most of you, says the Lord. So he's saying that once you've dealt with that first part, you've stood up for yourself, you've placed your boundaries, he's saying now you are going to have to just that final phase of just letting go of all those things that have been unprofitable to you. You've held on to them, you use them as defense mechanisms. You don't need them anymore, because now you have asserted yourself, you've made yourself known for who you truly are. And he's saying that you need to now let go of the unprofitable. You need to clear up the space so that you can let go of the unprofitable. Clear up the clutter, clear up what's getting in the way of you preparing yourself for what the Lord has for you next. It's a quick process. It's just clearing up that space so that the Lord can do what he's doing, so that you can get rid of the unprofitable and start on what he needs you to start on, or continue on what he needs you to continue on to. Some of these things, a lot of you have already started, but it gets bigger and a lot more gets opened up. So the Lord is saying that you just need to clean up your space, declutter, and he's talking about people around you taking on responsibilities that you don't really need to take on because you feel obliged and you feel that this is your responsibility. It really isn't. The Lord wants you to clear up your space so that he can remove the unprofitable. And then the Lord showed me how the enemy will try to do something on the sly that would try and eat away or rob you of your blessing in a way. There was a moth in the dream. And from what I know from scripture is that that scripture that talks about moth and rust eating away at your treasures. So the Lord said that the devil is trying to steal your treasures. He's trying to eat away at that. And in the dream, I was successful in getting rid of this moth without having to squash it or anything. Just me being persistent about getting rid of it, it ended up flying out of the window. So the Lord says that you need to be persistent in standing your ground and securing your space and focusing on what the Lord needs you to focus on in terms of getting rid of the unprofitable and preparing yourself for what he has in store for you in the very, very near future. For some of you, it has already begun, but the Lord needs you to be of a certain mindset in this time. The Lord says he will begin to shed light on the situation, on what the enemy is trying to do there. And he's saying that you will also begin to realize just how big of a thing the Lord is doing in your life. It is huge, my friends. And he's going to, out of your vulnerability, out of you being vulnerable to him and to those that the Lord has given you to be vulnerable to, out of that will come such a release. You won't hold on to the unprofitable things anymore. You'll be able to let go. And the Lord is going to do this in such a way that it is seen by many, but they will see how big of a calling is on your life, and that you are within the palm of the Lord. He's got you, but he's doing this so that many will see, so that he may be glorified. And he's doing this in a place of provision. He's going to protect you, and he's going to provide for you exceedingly abundantly more than what you even dreamed he would. So he's saying focus on that, prepare yourself, enjoy the process of preparing yourself, but know that he is providing for you, he is protecting you, and he's doing this on a large scale, and many will see this. And out of your vulnerability, many will see what the Lord is doing. So you need to ask the Lord what that looks like for you, how you need to be vulnerable. Be very careful with that, because I've also found myself opening myself up to people that I shouldn't have been. And the Lord has had to pull me back from that and just remind me that I need to take this to him. I think for me, it's a balance thing, where before I was very closed off, didn't make friends, I was just in my own corner, minding my own business. And the Lord highlighted that to me, that I need to be more open and receptive of people. And I took it to the far end. And but the Lord very quickly showed me this, and he's saying there needs to be a balance. And where that balance comes is taking every situation, every relationship, every interaction to the Lord and saying, this has come up, what do you say? And he will guide you through that. So it's important to be close to him at this time and to hear what he's saying. Listen out to his guidance and his leading. You need wisdom and discernment, and he's willing to give you all of those things. Yeah, so friends, that is the word for today. I'm praying for you that you may be able to get through this this part of your journey quickly, because the Lord wants to do it quickly, and that you may really have more doors opened up to you in your promised land. Now that the world is changing and so many things are coming up, you have a very important role to play in all of this. So yeah, that's the word. Friends, thank you. Always thank you for your love and your support. I deeply appreciate it. I'm so grateful to you. Grateful to everyone who donates to this ministry, to what I'm doing here, donates to my music. For those who have purchased a copy of my EP, anyone that still wants to do that, the details are in the description box below. You can buy that on Bandcamp. it's also available on iTunes and Spotify, but it's a bit bigger blessing for me if you get it off Bandcamp, because there's a lot of red tape with iTunes and Spotify and all those platforms. It's not really for the artist as much as it is for the bigger companies that hold that. But I put it there for those that only have access to that. So by all means, if that's what you prefer, go ahead and do it that way. For those that really cannot donate at all, I've put the EP up here on YouTube for you to listen to, and I'm happy to share it with you in that way, because I want my music to be a blessing, and to really just minister to you if it can. This particular EP is about just where the Lord found me and my experience in the wilderness up until this point. So the story will continue soon. Yeah, so friends, that's it. Remember that you serve a wonderful, wonderful, loving Father. He's so good, and you are so deeply special to Him.